Hello and welcome to Truth or Politics. I'm your host, Darlene Price, and excuse me, I have a sore throat tonight, so I'm hoping these gentlemen here and the folks behind the camera can carry this show a little bit because I am dying here. And no, I've been tested, retested, and tested again for COVID. It's just a creepy crud. I actually lost my voice for about 2 days. So welcome back. We've had to cancel show after show because I was on quarantine because I didn't have COVID, but I was exposed to somebody with COVID, so I was on quarantine. Then it snowed, and then it was one thing after another. So thank you. We are here tonight, and we want to welcome back our viewers on Facebook and NBR TV, and we want to say special thanks to NBR TV for always having us on television, no matter what. And Steve Hall's our hero and everybody behind the scenes, and we want to thank Michael Mann and everybody else in Truth Politics in Pulaski County. The folks up there involved in that, and we want to thank everybody for keeping us going. And it is a call-in show tonight. Before you call in, hold the calls for just a couple of minutes because I want to talk about the show tonight is on, see what I mean? Coywolves. And the reason we're doing another show, this is our second show. We did a show on this about this time last year. And since then, we have had an overwhelming response in the office, people calling, people commenting, sending pictures about these things. So we're going to hit that. But first, a couple of things I want to hit. I want to give the microphone to Scotty Morrow. You're the district Grand Poobah. What is it, district?
District Commander.
Commander, sorry, of the American, hold on for the calls here. Can you put them on hold? Okay, but anyways, hold just for a minute. We got some announcements to make. This is the district commander, and he's also the one of the head honchos of our local American Legion, and he's got a bunch of announcements for our local American Legion, which we absolutely do support and love, and they do a lot of good in this county. So I'm going to hand the microphone over to Scotty Morrow.
Thank you, Darlene. Upcoming events on February the 5th, we're having Junction South. They will be there at 8 o'clock to midnight, and everyone's welcome. On February the 14th, Valentine's Day, from 5 to 7, we're having a dinner at the Post, lasagna, salad, and everyone's welcome for that. That night on Valentine's Day, we have Rock and Rod. Rod Hensley will be DJing that night. And come on out, enjoy the evening, and we'll celebrate Valentine's Day. On February the 19th, we have Austin's Basement. We've got Darlene coming out and playing. So everyone is welcome to come out the 19th. So the 5th, Junction South. The 14th, Valentine's Day, dinner at the Post, and Rock and Rod afterwards at starting around 8. And on the 19th is Austin's Basement. I understand how many members of the band? 7?
Well, when our sax player can play with us, we have 7. Without our saxophone player, and he's very good, but I don't know if he's going to be able to make it on the 19th. We have 6 of us, so yeah. And we play real music. And believe you me, the guys I play with are way more talented than me. I'm just lucky that they let me hang with them. We have Joe Taylor, Joe Meadows, Junior Swain. These folks are and our bass player out of Somerset, Steve. Folks, these are super talented people. We play real music, and it's to raise money for the American Legion. And we play rock and roll and country. We play 70s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. And we play Bob Seger, Beatles, Eagles. What else do we play? CCR. We play real music. So come on out. It's usually a good crowd there. And I'll give it back to Scotty.
Well, I have a district meeting coming up in the 20th of February in Middlesboro, and on the let me get the date here. The 17th we have our regular membership meeting and it's the third Thursday of every month. And starting this month, we're going to do nominations for officers. So for all Legionnaires, come on out, join us. So that's the announcements I have for the American
What about,
Legion.
don't you have some scholarships, some public speaking scholarship things? Too?
The oratorical, if anybody listened to here in McCrory County, and it goes for Pulaski and Knox County, anywhere from Jamestown all the way back up to Middlesboro, if you have a child who wants to participate in the oratorical program with the American Legion, it's on the Constitution. So get a hold of Darlene, let her know, or myself, or Thomas Vogan at the commander of the American Legion post over here. We will set up a time for these kids to come over and do their speech. They have to do a 5 to 7 minute speech. We did that once before in Corbin.
Yeah.
And this oratorical, at the post level, you start out with, the winner will get $250. As we move into the district, that date will be coming up in probably March, as soon as I get a list of all the kids who want to talk about the Constitution. They get 500 from the district. Let's see. I think it's 1,000 from Area C, that's all of Eastern Kentucky. And if you make it to state, it's like $2,500 for college scholarships. And if you capture national, it is $25,000. So a couple years ago, before COVID, we had a boy and a girl who won national, and they won the state. One was the winner and the other one was runner-up, and they both, one got 27,000, the other one got 25,000. So the oratorical, and yes, we both were.
Yeah.
And so the oratorical is an advantage. And one other thing that we're starting back this year is boys state. This is for all boys, and the girls have that too. It's at Cumberland College, but boys state is at Western University this year, and that it's for a week. You learn the Constitution, you learn how government works. They take you to the Capitol. A lot of fun and games, and once you complete that, you have an opportunity to get a college scholarship. One of our individuals here in the county did get a scholarship to Eastern after going to Boys State. So we do have programs out there for college, but high school students have to take advantage of it. We put the information out there, but you got to volunteer to go, and we raise the money to send you to Boys State. It's $600 per student, so that's what, we raise the money for that.
And we are very proud of our American Legion because they do a lot of good in this community. They give a lot of scholarship money out, a lot of scholarship competitions, and they help a lot of veterans too, building houses for them and everything else. So we are very proud to support our local American Legion and the national or the state American Legion too. That does a lot of good. So
we have in our local community, our county judge is a veteran. Our county attorney is a veteran. So, and you're a veteran. So, we have...
he's a veteran.
And he's a veterin.
Wouldn't you like to be a veteran too? I'm sorry.
So, in case you decide, these young men and ladies that want to join the military, I noticed the Army right now is given $50,000 for a 6-year enlistment.
Yeah, bonuses.
So a bonus to just go in because, but that is something that we didn't, we were in the draft. I mean, I was, and I'm sure Dan was. So.
Well, the draft did exist at the time. This is back in the Vietnam War.
Well, I joined the Air Force.
And I
so
joined
you had
the Air
to,
Force. I wasn't drafted. I joined the Air Force.
Yeah, you had to. So, but I mean, there's, the military is a way to go for young people who want to get a leg up and pay for their college and so forth and their student loans. And so the military's
No,
there.
I didn't have to join. I was only 17 when I joined. My mother and father had to sign for me to go in.
Well,
I went in as soon as I could.
They
go in.
were probably saying, let us sign.
Yeah, get rid of it. Let's break his plate.
Yes. But anyways, that's all I have for the American Legion. But I know you have a lot to talk about tonight, and but I was wanting to comment on all the truckers up in Canada.
Well, explain what's going on there, because I hadn't heard about
Well,
this.
they have 75, I understand now, 75 miles. They started from the West Coast and they're going to, is it Ottawa, the capital? And they're there now. But they're just getting there, and 75 miles of trucks lined up, and they got a lot of people supporting them for the mass mandates.
Protesting
Against all mandates. So, that started last week in Canada. Now they're talking about starting in California, going to DC, and they had people sign up. Now they say they have about 90,000 people, that are truckers, that want to participate in that convoy going from California to DC, protesting mandates. So,
Cool.
But anyways, I'll turn this over to you, and
Well,
thank you for having us.
We thank you, and you're welcome to stay during the show if you want, or you can take off, come or go, whatever. But we appreciate our American Legion. They do a lot of good in this community.
Well,
And you forgot, tell what you guys did for Christmas.
Oh.
Toys for Tots, cover that.
That's true. Christmas, we had, I think, close to 300 kids, and we raised for Maysville, which was destroyed by the tornado. We raised $2,000 for them. Our post gave $1,000 for the people affected by the tornadoes, and we gave them around $3,000 worth of toys to take up there. So
Wow, that's a good job. Thank you, American Legion.
and I got pictures sent to me on where the state commander, he was here, he was Santa Claus. So, and I want to thank you and Austin for coming over, and our sheriff Randy Waters for coming over and helping us with the toys and so forth. But we, I guess we sent toys and money to the state for the tornado relief. We averaged about $6,000 going to the kids and the veteran families that were affected by the tornadoes.
Good job, good job.
So.
And that's what a lot of these, we post, this band playing this Saturday. And by the way, that's a really good band too. Those guys are friends of mine. In fact, the drummer of the band this Saturday coming up, he used to be our drummer. So we all play together. Believe me, we play together, all of us, and they're really good. But a lot of these when we have bands at the American Legion, they charge a nominal fee. What is it, like $3, $8,
Well,
something like that?
it depends on the band. It depends on the band. We're starting anywhere from $6 to $10, depending on the band and if they charge us and how many members in the band and so forth.
Yeah, so, the American Legion uses this to raise money. So when you come to the American Legion to watch the bands play and everything, and they got some good bands over there, you're helping the American Legion raise money so they can do Toys for Tots, tornado relief, that type of thing, and help veterans. So we appreciate you.
And we are a nonprofit.
Yeah.
And we don't get all the money that we get is from our memberships and from fundraisers. So.
Yep, they're nonprofit, so we appreciate it, and we appreciate your service and everything else. So come on anytime, and we've as long as we're not canceling shows due to COVID and snow.
Well, as long as we don't have any more mandates, we're going to be good.
Sounds like a country music song. I'm canceling shows due to COVID and snow. Okay, back to.
All right.
Thank you.
I'm going to run.
All right, take off.
You all have a good evening.
We appreciate our American Legion. Okay, so just in. Yes, this show we posted it about Coywolves, and we are going to talk about that, and we're going to take your calls. But I have to hit this because I just got this today. We did a whole show on the last time they did this. They passed the bill. This is our state legislature, the clowns in Frankfurt. That's right, I'm calling you a bunch of clowns in Frankfurt because only someone who is trying to hide something would dare pass a bill like this. And I'm talking about Amia Benesaver. I know I'm probably totally butchering her name, and I apologize for that. Bensenhaver. She is trying to pass, her and several others, Senate Bill 63, which substantially amends Kentucky Open Records Act. This is a horrible bill. It limits transparency. It's even worse than the last one they did. They passed it.
Can I ask, are these people working for us, or who are they trying to? I mean, they're trying to take away all of the hard-earned transparency that we gained back in the 70s, and they're trying to take it all away. Now, does that say that they're working for us, the people who elected them, or are they working for some other purpose? I say, and how many, I'd like to know how many people are involved in this. We know that the last time that every man jack of them, every one of them, it was unanimous, they voted to take away some of these open records and transparency that we had.
But I will say this. Thank God we've got a good attorney general, okay? I dogged the last one now as our current governor, okay? This attorney general kind of reined that in and said, no, you need to do this. And I got a whole book of open records requests, but they severely limited if you live here, this is what the last one did, and they all voted for it. If you live here and you move away, and you need your records here for whatever reason,
You can't get them.
and you're out of state, good luck getting them. You're not going to get them. Okay, they're going to make you jump through so many hoops. It's going to be a nightmare to get your records, your own records. Okay, and I'm calling bull hockey on this. Okay, this bill is even worse. And what they will say in their speeches and stuff is, well, we're just trying to protect Social Security numbers and dates of births. Bull crap.
They've been able to redact that information since this first began if they wish to.
Right.
That is not what this is about.
No.
And it restricts other information. They can restrict any part of this document by redacting that part of that document, and those issues can be dealt with at a later date.
Right.
But to say that you can't do any of it is taking away our transparency in government, and that is wrong.
Well, it's attacking freedom of the press and freedom of free speech.
It sure is.
Freedom, period. And any politician who votes for this, you are hiding something. The only reason anybody would vote for something like this is you got something to hide. Let me tell you something. Over the past 11 years, I've done over 200 open records requests. Do you know how many times I've asked for a Social Security number or date of birth? 0. Do you know how many documents of the 200 open records requests and mountains of documents? I'm talking one open record request where your documents this thick, okay? Of all the mountains and mountains of documents, I'm talking well over 5 million, and I'm not exaggerating, 5 million pages of documents that I've received. Do you know how many of those documents actually had a Social Security number or date of birth they had to redact? 1. Okay, so this is bull crap. This is hiding the truth. This is your state politicians, your state representatives who are in there right now. Oh, by the way, hint, 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 we got an election coming up, a primary. This primary election coming up for your state reps and your state senators, please keep that in mind. That
Unelect them.
they need to
They're
go.
not working for us.
No.
Unelect them.
All of them voted for this. They all need to go. Fire them all, let God sort them out, is what I say. There was a couple on this last bill, there was a couple that went against it. I don't remember who they are, like
The first
three.
one, it was unanimous.
Was it? No, yeah, the state reps, it was. It was
It
unanimous.
was unanimous.
It was.
And that, what does that tell you?
Yeah,
What, we need to unelect these people. They're not working for us. When anybody's working for me, they would be very pleased to let me see what they're doing if they work for me. If they really have an intent to do good for
Right.
me, they're gladly let me see what they're doing.
by the
But
way,
these gentlemen want to hide it.
Yeah.
Every last one of them.
they want to hide it.
Unelect them.
They don't want the media to expose the waste, fraud, abuse, and corruption that's going on. That's it. They don't, especially the media, they don't want us getting in their business and exposing what they're doing. That's what this is really about. You know, if you are an elected official, if you really represent the people like Dan says, what you should be doing is be passing laws for more transparency. More transparency, not less. So I just want to put that out there. Any state rep and any state senator that votes for this, I hope the vote is before the May election primary, because I'm going to dog you. I'm going to read your names off. We're going to post it everywhere. Truth or Politics is in Pulaski County now. We're in the surrounding counties, and we're in Louisville. And we're going to make sure, Russell Springs, that's right. We're going to make sure that everybody knows that you voted against transparency. You voted to hide behind this bill. So I'm telling you right now, you vote for this bill, you should be gone. And if you voted for the last one, you should be gone. But this one for sure, because this is even worse. So I wanted to touch on that. And so now we're back to Coywolves.
Well,
go ahead.
Can we continue a little bit?
Yeah,
on
go
it?
ahead.
How can they be so bold? Do they think they can't be unelected? How can they be that bold as to do this out in front of every voter? How can they be that bold? Do they know something I don't, that somehow they control the vote? I mean, how can they be that bold?
I don't know. All I got to say is this. We don't have term limits in the state of Kentucky, but you can force term limits on these people. Just vote them all out. They need to go. This is your state at Frankfurt. And we all know how Frankfurt has screwed things up in the state of Kentucky. These are your state representatives and your state senators. Fire them all and let God sort them out. I've been saying that for how many years now? 11 years. I'm for term limits. And by the way, we're going to have the term limits state person for term limits in Kentucky on the show, and I'm working on that right now. We'd already had him on the show, but between between COVID lockdowns and the snow, we've had to postpone a bunch of shows. So we're getting there, folks. Anyway, I think this is appalling. And we the people out there, the voters, the taxpayers, let me say something else. These records don't belong to these public officials. They do not belong to these state reps or these state senators.
They belong to us.
They belong to we the people. Your tax dollars paid their salary and paid for these documents. You know, like, here's a good example, folks. I submitted one today. We've had a lot of politicians in Pulaski County and around here. We've had in Pulaski County and here the railroad blocking our citizens. Okay? Pull across the roads and sit there for hours at a time. Ambulances can't get in. It is a severe safety hazard. We've had local politicians promise that they're doing something about it. For what? Several years now? Giving speeches. Oh, I got that covered. Well, we're about to see about that, because I just submitted an open records request to Department of Transportation to see who has done anything about these railroad bridges and overpasses that they've been promising. So, if this bill passes, if these politicians who stood up at these meetings and said, no, I'm taking care of that, I got it going on, We're going to have bridges built. We're going to fix this. And they've made these promises. This open records request, if they have to answer it, and they should have to answer it, it'll show that what they've done. They will have to cough up, Department of Transportation of Kentucky will have to cough it up. No, nobody submitted anything for grants or they did, what they did. Either way, we're going to find out. That's what kind of thing this is about, okay? They don't want you, they want to hide. They don't want people to know they're not doing their job. That's what it is. And that's what this bill will do if it gets passed. So, this is a call-in show, 376-5000, 376-5000. Also, excuse me, long distance, 372-0002, 372-0002. That's area code 606.
We have a question in the audience.
Go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to make a comment, because they was talking about the truckers earlier.
Yeah.
And I actually had a guy that had come in to the clinic because he was trying to get on in a local factory, and he'd been driving a truck for years. And he said right now things was really rough on him. And you know how they had all the ships out in the bay and stuff and couldn't get them unloaded, and they was blaming it all on the truckers?
Yeah.
He said that he was over at a port in California, one of the busiest ones.
Port of Los Angeles, that's where I used to work as a U.S. Customs Special Agent.
And he said they got 3 cranes there to load trucks. And he said there was trucks backed up as far as he could see. They had 1 crane running.
One crane running at the Port of Los Angeles. We're talking literally thousands, and I do mean thousands of ships pulling into that. That's one of the largest seaports in the world, Port of Los Angeles. I used to work there. So that's just crazy. That's just crazy. Okay. Coywolves. Okay. But anything else about this bill?
I'll talk about Coywolves.
I just got to say.
I can't understand the logic of these young men who are supposedly representing.
And women.
And women.
This is a woman, female, that's proposing this bill.
Going against us like that, knowing that we want more transparency instead of less. I just can't understand it. What's the logic in that?
Well, all I'm going to say is you, the voters, can hold them accountable. This May, we have a primary election. Anybody who's been in there in the last 4 years, 8 years, whatever, fire them. Vote for the other guy. Quit playing this party bullcrap, okay? And most of these people, if you're a Democrat and you want to vote for, they got a Democrat running against them in the primary. So, but
you're better off with a wino off the street instead of these people working against you. Unelect them.
I couldn't agree with you more. That's got to be one of the most profound, best. Say that again, Dan. Say it again.
You're better off with a wino off the street in office than these gentlemen who are working to hurt us, not to help us, to hurt us.
Thank you. I could have said that better myself. That was good. That was real good. Okay, Coywolves. I have posted, if you go to our Truth or Politics Facebook page, or if you just Google Coy Wolf, Kentucky, tons of articles come up. Or YouTube, Coywolves. Nat Geo did a whole story on it. Now, they did a Disney version of this, okay? How great this species is and all that. And folks that know me, if you're new to this show, let me bring you up to speed. Nobody loves dogs, wolves, more than me, okay? I donate to wolves in Colorado. I mean, I believe in protecting things that are natural to our environment. I do. I love the bears. He tells me I'm going to get eaten by a bear all the time because I hike right out where they're at. And
I don't think she understands that they are wild animals and they think totally different than you were thinking. They're not warm cuddlies.
I don't warm and cuddly them. I don't fear
I'm going to elaborate
them.
on that in a little while, and maybe some people will come to a better understanding. But they're not the warm cuddlies as portrayed by Walt Disney.
I know, but honestly, because I live in, for those of you who are just watching, we got people in Buenos Aires. Hey, Rose in Buenos Aires. We have people all over the world that watch this show. I've got friends in California, people in Germany. Okay,
The last show that we had on
Coywolves.
Coywolves, which was months and months ago. I told you then that at some point in the future, they
Yeah.
were going to decide that human beings were prey. And
He did.
that they would take a human being as prey, and that the first one they took would be a woman. I told you all.
You
this.
predicted that. You did. That was about a year ago.
And now it has come to pass.
Up in was in Canada, right? The article
That's
talks
correct.
about it. Okay, she was tied up at, was it Maine or Canada? Somewhere on the not Adirondacks. What's the other mountains up there? Whatever the mountain range is up
The
there.
Rockies extend up into.
No, over Maine. This is over Maine and
Oh,
Colorado.
those are the Alleghenies.
That's it, Allegheny Mountains. She was hiking the Allegheny Mountains, and I posted that article, and it's on YouTube too. And first they thought they were coyotes, very large coyotes. Turned out they DNA tested them, and they killed her. Drug her off to the woods. Hikers ran them off, and then they got her to the hospital, and she lived till she got to the hospital, and then she died. But they did it, the game warden came out and shot at least one of them. DNA tested them. They were coy wolves. Okay, for those of you that didn't see the prior show, and this is new to you, we have here in the Appalachian Mountain area in Kentucky, and right here in the Daniel Boone National Forest,
And in Tennessee.
What's called a coy wolf. It is a coyote red wolf hybrid. Okay, this is, the Nat Geo segment says that is nature did this. That nature, red wolves just bred with coyotes. I've had reports, and from some insiders too, that in Kentucky, our National Game Service brought a bunch of these red wolves down, turned them loose to reintroduce them into eastern Kentucky, and they bred with coyotes. So it's probably a combination of both.
Well, I think they also bred with domestic dogs.
Right.
It's a combination of the three, and they are now getting to be enough of them that they're developing packs, and that changes the whole dimension of the whole story.
Exactly. In fact, and I covered this last year on the show, I live right, my house, we have, acreage and stuff in the woods, but then behind my house is a game preserve. I live in the Daniel Boone National Forest. Last November, not this past year, 2021, but 2020, so a year and 2 months ago, I also work and train search and rescue dogs. I have my dogs back there on the trail, and I train them early in the morning, and it's still dark, and this was November 2020. And I have a headlight, and I train them in the dark for several reasons. It makes them use their nose more, because their vision is limited more, okay? Anyway, me and my very large 4 dogs, I have 3 St. Bernards and a German Shepherd. My smallest dog is 75 pounds. We squared off against a pack of these things. And I'm telling you, had my gun jammed, and since that day, I always carry 2 guns now back there, we would be over. They would, it sounded like 100 of these things coming up at us, but it probably wasn't, probably like 5 or 10. But these coy wolves, they are on average 75 pounds. These are not little coyotes. We do have coyotes too. Regular coyotes run what? You're the expert, 20, 30 pounds?
Yes.
And these coy wolves are huge. And they're beautiful. Go ahead.
They're big, beautiful wolves, and coyotes are a slender little dog, and not as prone to the size or the type of prey that a coy wolf is. The coy wolf is husky. He's big and thick, and
They look a lot like an Alaskan Malamute, is what they look like.
yes, they're not a little animal. They're huge.
Yeah, and they're beautiful. And but here's the thing. Here's what's happening here in the county, and I just talked to some guy from Harlan that came over here and in our law office and told me his story. These things all over in eastern Kentucky, here in McCrory County, and I've got reports in Pina. These things are now running in packs. They've multiplied big time. When you've got something that's on average 75 pounds, You got 5 to 20 of these running in a pack. That is an apex predator, okay? That is dangerous. I have posted pictures behind my house when I do my hikes of the actual poo, what do you call it, scat of these Coywolves. Their scat is the size of my St. Bernard scat. That's how big these things are, okay? And I've gotten reported for the last year since a year ago we did this show. Before we did the show, the reason we did this show is I got a lot of reports about this. These things are terrorizing every little cat, dog. Now they're going after farmers, cattle. I had a farmer out of Pine Knot call me and actually came in the office.
If I can elaborate a
Go
little
ahead.
bit on that. If you've got a large dog at your house, stop and think how much that single dog eats. They eat a lot, more than a human does. They eat a lot. So if you got one coy wolf out here, and he's in a certain district or area that he patrols, he will probably take a medium-sized animal once a week or week and a half. So say a few square miles can support that and continue to support that. But if you have a pack of such animals, they have to survive a week. They have to take a decent sized animal at least once a week for the pack to eat. Now, that can't be supported by a small area. They have to expand their area to miles instead of just an acre or 2 or 10 acres or 15, 20 acres. They have to expand their pack's circular area that they patrol and take prey in to miles. And the bigger the pack, or if you start more than one pack, you're talking about a portion of a state as how much area that they will need in their to feed themselves.
You know what? Let me stop real quick. I humbly apologize. I didn't even introduce that. I'm so used to working with Dan, having him on the show. For newcomers, Dan Gibson is a big part of Pulaski County Truth or Politics. But also, the reason I had him on the show tonight and the last Coywolf show, Dan Gibson's prior job for years, he was a big game hunter guide and hunting expert in the Colorado Rocky Mountains. He knows more about wolves and hunting and animal behavior. That he made a living at it, a big living.
Coy wolves are brand new. I can only relate to wolf packs that I observed in Colorado, and bear and other predators, top predators. So, and I lived with them. Actually, we go out for a month at a time and live in the woods to prepare for the hunters that would come in. So I know where all the game was and what the game was doing, and so I could be pretty successful with their hunts. Because if I didn't get paid. They didn't come back. So I got real familiar with all of these animals' traits and watched them so close. I got to understand their methods, and therefore I can only apply what I understand from wolves and coyotes in Colorado to these coy wolves, because they may develop some brand new things that nobody's seen, because they're a brand new species.
Yeah, they have DNA tested these things, and like I said, Nat Geo. I posted several articles and the YouTube video on Nat Geo that did a whole thing on coy wolves, and they're all over the Appalachian Mountains, all the way up from Canada, all the way down to here, and
In Tennessee.
and Tennessee, absolutely. And the reason we're doing a show on this,
I've seen them down there.
yeah, is they're kind of like running amok in the Daniel Boone National Forest and around here in our county and surrounding counties. And we've had on how many people post, the last time we did a show, a farmer posted a photograph of what looks like a coyote and then a coy wolf, and you can see the difference. That coy wolf was like 75, 80 pounds, right on his front yard. They're coming right up in the yards. We've had them come right up in my yard, seen in my yard. They've gotten 2 of our cats. They would have either killed me and my dogs or seriously damaged me had my gun jammed that morning, a year and 2 months ago. They're becoming, in my humble opinion, and I love dogs, okay, and I love wolves, but I love kids better, And I love, you know, this is my fear. They've come right up in our yard. All it's going to take is for some little kid to be running between, you know, we got a pretty good sized property between our house and Austin's.
It'll take one other thing. It'll take the fact that they recognize that child as prey.
Yeah.
Now, they have evidently begun to do that in Canada, and I've heard of some other people that they don't know what actually killed them, but they think it was dogs or something. But animals do not, I want to get away from this Disney picture of these animals. You can't relate at all how a human being thinks to how they think. First of all, their senses are different than ours. They don't see much in the way of colors like we do. Most of their world is black and white, and they see a different area of the spectrum than we do. They see more into the infrared area, where at night their vision is way better than ours, so exceeds ours. They see things that heat up. They see things, they have some infrared vision at night. And we don't have that at all. Their nose tells them things that we can't even imagine. For example, I've watched this happen in the woods many, many times. These situations develop in the woods and happen over a period of days, and an animal will come through, especially a deer or a bear or a wolf, who have great olfactory powers. They'll come through and they don't just see what happened right then. They'll see what happened a week ago. They will avoid a spot that some predator that was capable of hurting them, they'll avoid that spot if he was there a week ago. They can see a picture with their nose that happened yesterday or the day before or 10 minutes ago or right now. They see better with their nose than we do with our eyes. All of their senses are different than ours. Their brain is wired totally different. They think of prey as something that won't hurt them and something that's good to eat that won't make them sick. If you fall in that category, it's possible they may come to eat you. Now, that changes from if you got one coy wolf or you got a pack of coy wolves. One coy wolf will not be safe against maybe a large bear. And he knows that. He knows he could probably get hurt. But a pack can take a bear. Or a pack can take a human being. So this changes according to how many are in a pack or how hungry they are or what has happened in the past. They don't forget what happened last week. As a matter of fact, I'm positive that they passed this around to their younger ones, that this was prey last week. We got this. This was a prey last week. And so therefore it's fair game today. This may have been a prey last month or last year. Therefore it's prey today. They have just now begun to take human beings. And I'm concerned that in the future they will discover that children are prey. And when that happens, it'll be too late, because most people don't perceive these predators as very dangerous. But when that happens, I'm afraid it's going to be immediate, because once they decide it is, they're already in lots of territories where children are. And I just don't think they've decided to prey yet.
Well, up in upstate New York, people think of New York, think of New York City, but New York's a big state, and it's got a lot of rural area. And up in the Adirondacks, close to the Adirondacks, I posted that article too, and that was on YouTube, the video. They have a video of that, where one of these coy wolves was in a suburban neighborhood and stalking this woman. And so they had to call the dog catcher or game, whoever, they have animal control up there, animal control guy out, and he had to shoot it. And but he filmed it first. And you can see that on my Facebook page. I posted that. That's on YouTube. These things are beautiful. They are. They don't look like coyotes. They look like red wolves. If you just type in coy wolf, you'll see them. They're reddish in color. They got big, beautiful, bushy tails. And they are, the reason we're doing this show, and we did the show last time, more and more and more, we're getting more and more calls from people that are seeing these. They're coming right up in people's yards, and they're running in packs, and they're obliterating people's small dogs, medium-sized dogs, cats. You can't have anything. And I had a farmer tell me this story. He has cattle. His concern, and I didn't realize cows were that expensive. We're talking like thousands of dollars for one cow. So he said there was a pack of them. They hid, and this is in Pine Knot. So these things are in Pine Knot too. Hid in a wood line, and they wait till a cow goes to calf, and then they pack it and kill the cow and the calf, and they get both. So these are packing enough, they're big enough, they're strong enough, there's enough of them that they're taking out cows. So that tells you something. And, you know, here's what the only thing I want to caution people. They look a lot like a large Siberian Husky or an Alaskan Malamute, the reddish Alaskan Malamutes, okay? Just be careful if you, and they're fair game, okay? It's all year-round season for these things because they're a hybrid and they're considered, as of right now, and if somebody knows something different, you better get a hold of me.
Better safe than sorry, don't take them lightly.
Yeah.
Please, if you see one, avoid it or have a weapon that you can defend yourself with.
But, you know, make sure don't have a collar on because, you know, because these look a lot like, you know, it can be confused with somebody's dog. You don't want to kill somebody's dog. So kind of think twice before you shoot. Also, please don't start putting out poison. You know, that's just evil because you're going to poison other things. And we got a caller. Okay, hold on. Truth or Politics, what's your comment or question?
Yeah, I was watching your show there about the Coywolves, and well, it's about any kind of private Coywolves or any kind of predator. I got thinking, a lot of my little kids would be out in the yard, something they're playing with a squeaky toy,
Oh, yeah.
and right then, that is food, that's food on the table for any predator. And a little kid out there yelling at little squeaky toys, a lot of little parents get their little kids to play with. Don't leave them outside, especially by ourselves, playing with one of those squeaky toys.
I personally believe it's just a matter of time.
Yeah, those squeaky toys sound like those calls, you know, those,
Yeah, it sounds like a mouse or any kind, it sounds like injured animal.
That's correct.
that's a really good point, caller.
So, okay, that's all I gotta say.
Thank you.
Thanks, caller, and it is call-in show, 376-5000, good.
We taste like chicken.
Oh, Michael Mann just said, we taste like chicken.
I personally believe that's why the dinosaurs are gone, because they all taste like chicken.
Okay.
I'm not sure it was that asteroid because we used to have a big bird. It was called a dodo bird here in the United States. Big, beautiful, fat bird, plenty of meat on it. And guess what? We
Yeah.
ate them into extinction.
Okay,
I think all the dinosaurs, you know, all the birds are descendants from the dinosaurs. I think they taste like chicken.
all right, not my expert, I'm gonna allude to you this is what my research, before I talk about something, my research is best, like especially since these things are coming up in my yard. They're threatening, they've already taken 2 of our cats. They really threaten me. I'm telling you, that was pretty scary, squaring off with these things.
They evidently consider you prey.
Well, there's no doubt in my
Did
mind.
you shoot at them?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, well that may have changed their mind. I mean, it works the way I told you. If they think that whatever they're trying to prey on can hurt them, and you evidently made them think that, you may have saved some people's lives by doing that.
Well, but they came right back.
Oh, they did come back.
Well, not right back. It took about 8 months, right after that situation. About 8 months later, we started seeing Coywolf poop again. And, you know, I probably don't have time to tell this story, but
They're always trying. They're always trying to develop a new source of food or new prey. And they have to, because they eat all the prey out of an area. Once they move into an area, you'll see fewer deer, you'll see fewer raccoon, anything that is edible that they can get a hold of and eat. You'll see fewer of them, and until there's not enough to support them, and they'll move around. They'll move on to another area.
But these are really starting to affect the farmers and people's little small farms and hobby farms around here. They're getting hit big time with these. And that's why we're doing another show. We try to educate people that, you know, these are real. And they're becoming a doggone hazard around here. And, you know, I wish the game wardens would do something. I talked to a game warden. He told me, he said, I didn't tell you this, but kill every one of them. Shoot them all.
Well, I'm sure we've heard stories about performers who have raised animals and used them in acts in Las Vegas and such. One such act, he raised him and this cat loved him and they petted all the time.
Siegfried and Roy. Siegfried and Roy.
Guess what? He killed him. That cat decided he didn't have any personal feelings for that guy like the guy thought he had. A friend of mine out in Colorado found a little bear in the woods, a little cub that his mother had died or killed or something, but the little cub was by itself, and he took it home with him. And the little cub buddied up with him, licked and loved on everybody, lived in the house with him until he got too big to live in the house with him, but played with the dogs and kids and everything. And then one day, it killed and ate their dog. A little while later, it killed and ate the neighbor's dog. A little while later, it attacked a young boy in the neighborhood. Thank goodness he was able to run away from it. Immediately, they took the bear back to the woods after that. They didn't have the heart to kill it because they loved it. Silly of them to do so, because that bear didn't think anything like that. His brain was not wired like that. Just like I explained a while ago, they don't see the world the same way we do. Their mind is totally different. They don't literally see it like we do. They don't smell it like we do. I mean, everything's different in their mind. It's not wired anywhere near the same way ours is. So you can't attach these human emotions to these animals because it just can't work. It doesn't work. It's not how the real world is. You can imagine it with Disney and all this on these movies, but it's not real world.
Yeah, I thought Nat Geo, that video is informative, but it also Disney's them big time. Go ahead.
In nature, it is, can I eat it or can it eat me?
Exactly.
I like that. Michael Mann just said in nature, the question is, can I eat it or can it eat me? And that's pretty much it. So I came home, this was 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I trained my dogs behind the house, and right at the top of the hill, right in our yard, was a big thing of coy wolf poop. And it just made me mad. I thought, this is getting dangerous. So I put my dogs up. I was in a rush, and I got tunnel vision, and I did something very stupid. I'm going to tell on myself. You know the story. Because I'm going to tell on myself so nobody else makes this stupid mistake. I borrowed my brother's call. These calls are a little electronic device that you put it on. It'll sound like, a deer in distress or something like that, right? So I cammied up, went down the hill, behind my house, and put one of these calls out. Because in my mind, again, tunnel vision will get you killed, okay? And not being as wise as him, a hunter, and I was in law enforcement for 20 years, but that's completely different than this, okay? So I'm all cammied up. I put my call out there. I put it on coy wolf pup in distress. And you can hear these things for miles. Well, I called in everything but a coy wolf. First, this big owl comes and lands, like, I kid you not, this far from my head. And I just froze because I wanted to take a picture of it because it was beautiful. This big, beautiful owl. And I thought, if I move, it's going to think, it's going to flog me. So I just froze. And it looked around and then it left. Then a big hawk came in and landed right over where the call was and looked around and left. Then I called in a fox. I never could see it, but I know what a fox sounds like. We got those back there too. And it left. Right after that fox left, I was wondering why did that fox leave all of a sudden. I heard it sounded like a big man coughing.
We worry about her so much. One of these days, we're worried that we're going to go back on that trail down there and find those pretty little rings and those earrings that you wear in a pile of that.
Okay, well, here's what happened. It's right about dusk, and I was getting ready to leave anyway because it was getting too late. And I hear it sounds like 7 minutes. Okay, real quick. Sounds like a human. And I'm like, what's somebody doing back here this late? There shouldn't be anybody back here. And I'm looking, I'm like, what is that? I looked up and it was a bear. Here came a black bear. So I never moved so fast in my life. I jumped up, turned the call off. Now keep in mind, I've got all this camouflage stuff. I'm jumping up that, get out of here, bear, get out of here.
What you gotta understand though is he don't really see you so much as something in that area is moving.
I know.
Because he don't see your colors, or and it's all sort of the same color for him, but he don't really see you so well. He hears your noise and smells you, but he don't really see you so much. So
Well, he stopped.
you need to make a large noise.
I did, and I get out of here. So he stopped, and then he left. He went back up the hill. So once the blood drained back into my legs, I packed up all my crap, and I went up the hill, and I said, so I told my husband about it. My husband didn't want me doing that, by the way. So 5 minutes, okay, 5 minutes. So anyways, I told my husband, my husband said something funny. He said, you know what can you imagine what that bear thought? Oh my, he probably went back over the hill to his buddies and said, you're never going to believe what I saw. I saw a bush screaming and yelling, jumping up and down. So anyway, don't do that mistake, because I wasn't even thinking about owl. I was thinking, no, I'm calling in a coy wolf. He called in a bear. So, yeah, and by the way, all I had was a 9mm and a 25 automatic. I did have pepper spray. So, but that was not the brightest thing I've ever done. Won't be doing that again anytime too soon. So, anything else? Tell us about these Coywolves. So you can last 4 minutes here. We got
Big animals. You can shoot a squirrel or a rabbit or a coyote or whatever, but big animals don't go down as easily as they do. A 9mm, even if placed well, probably won't kill that animal for a day or two, and he will mostly just be incapacitated a little bit.
okay. You got 1 minute. Truth or politics? What's your comment or question? Real quick, 1 minute.
I've been listening to this Coywolf thing here. I'm not so much worried about them as all these werewolves I've been seeing right around.
You've been seeing werewolves, okay? Where did you, 4 minutes.
Huh?
You got 4 minutes, I'm sorry, I said 4 minutes. 4 minutes. Where are you seeing werewolves at, caller?
One come up to the house the other night, and I got my spotlight and shined it out there. And it scared me pretty bad. And I got looking at it, and it was Larry King.
And Larry King would say, you maybe had too many brewskis there if you're seeing a werewolf. All right, caller, anything else on Coywolves?
I'm just joking. I know the things around here. We see them. They're here.
Yeah. Have you had any run-ins with them because I know you have a bunch of dogs over there.
No, I've not had any run-ins with them, but I've seen a couple of them. And I don't know if they're the great big coyotes or if they're Coywolves or what. But I know the coyotes I used to see out west out there wasn't near as big as these are. Maybe these are just eating better or something. But yeah, they're dangerous. They can be very dangerous if in a pack and they're hungry. And this time of year right now they're mating.
And they eat dogs on a regular basis of all different sizes.
They're mating now, and they're roaming around looking for food, especially the males and stuff. So that's the most dangerous time of year for them.
All right. Well, we appreciate you, caller. And watch out for those werewolves.
I don't know. It's a local weed. It attracts them around here.
The local.
Have a good one.
Thank you, caller. We appreciate you.
I just choked on a cough drop. Okay. There's never a dull moment on a live show. Okay, folks, how many minutes left? We got 1 minute left. Okay. First off, thank you, Dan Gibson, for coming on, and we appreciate all the work he's doing. Folks, we have promised you, and we are wrapping it up. How close are we, Michael Mann, on our Lake Cumberland thing? How close?
Well, I'm working on it.
Okay, so within a month?
Right.
Hopefully we're going to release this within a month. You know, COVID, we have one more interview to do, And we've had to put it off because of COVID and because of snow and everything else. Hopefully we'll get that down. That is coming. We've been working hard on that for you. It is going to be one heck of a story, folks. So, and Dan's big part of that. He's been my bodyguard and cameraman up there. So we want to thank MBR TV. We want to thank everybody behind the scenes, Michael Mann, and everybody, the whole team of Truth or Politics in Pulaski County, Louisville, and here. We want to thank our Facebook watchers too for watching us and keeping us on. And we will see you next time, and I'll post when we're going to do it next time. And keep in mind, if we have to cancel because of COVID or snow, I apologize for that, but it is what it is. So we'll see you next time on Truth or Politics. Thanks.